I managed to get you on my phone.
Hello,
So,
everyone. Welcome to the 10K Project. Welcome to this week's Bet on Black pitch. We're super excited to have you. Today, we have with us the founders of Health Blockchain Security Services. We're going to talk to them, hear about their project. But first, I wanted to share some news and I wanted to say to all of you, happy anniversary. Today is 10K Project 1 year anniversary doing the Bet on Black pitch. So we've been
wow.
doing this
Awesome.
for 1 whole year. We've been helping founders realize their dreams, getting the capital that they need so that they can build the amazing, innovative ideas they have, or so that they could sell the amazing, life changing products, right? And so we are a part of history right now. For all of you who were with us at the very first one, thank you for staying around. For all of you who have joined us on the journey to today, thank you. This project, this 10K project, would be nothing without all of you. And we just want to say thank you, to everyone who has contributed to us coming to a live, talking to one of us, talking to our live on our lives, to our wonderful admin that comes and helps us and kind of anonymous behind the scenes, but she knows I love her and I want to thank her. And if she tells me I can tell you who she is, I will. But just everyone that has helped us get to this point. I know all the
Hmm.
founders are so grateful. We stay in contact. They reach out to say hello. They reach out to keep me up to speed on their campaigns. And so, guys, we are doing good work. And I say we because I mean each and every one of us. This is not a Cherie and Tawana thing. This is the 10K Project community.
Hmm.
And so, big ups to all of you because
Yeah.
we are doing it. We are making an
Exactly.
impact. We're leaving a legacy, right? And we're building a portfolio at the same time. So,
Hmm.
congratulations to all of us and happy anniversary.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, I am going to share my screen and show
Awesome.
you the campaign page. You guys see that?
Awesome. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Nice.
So this campaign is on WeFunder. Um, Daniel and his team, they're still in the testing the waters phase, but in addition to
Hmm.
being in testing the waters phase, they're still in their family and friends time period.
Yeah.
So we've never done a campaign where we've been part of the family and friends round. So that's actually I love that happened on today, right? We announced
Right.
the
Yeah.
anniversary, and now we get to say we made it to family and friends. So
Friends. Yep.
so this campaign is not yet live. So if you go and try to invest in as a public, then you wouldn't necessarily be able to do
Right.
that. But
Because it's
because you've
yeah.
been invited through the family and friends, then you're able to do so early and be able to get in early.
And also, I just want to say I could share the link as well if anyone wants to receive that link where they can be able to contribute. So that wouldn't be a problem
Yeah, I think
either as it
I
relates
think
to.
I have the real link too that we can
Oh,
put in.
cool.
So
Nice.
the link I have
Nice.
is good. It's a live link.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
I
Yes.
think being a part of the round at this stage is very sentimental because
Mm-hmm.
this is the round we talk about where most founders have the rich auntie and uncle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can just write that one check to get them to the next phase of it, right?
Yeah.
And so we're the rich aunties and uncles today, right? That
Yeah.
today we assume that role because we get them to the next phase. So Daniel, if you could educate us just briefly, is there a threshold you have to meet financially before you go live, or is it literally just about the countdown of the clock?
I think it's five. The threshold is $5,000, I believe, before it
Somewhere
actually
there.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, Mila. It's
Hmm.
$5,000 before it
Before
actually
we
goes
become
live
like,
from the
yes.
friends and yes, yeah.
Good. So that's what I thought. I thought there was a threshold. So at the end of this 22 days, if Daniel hasn't raised at least that threshold amount, then the
Hmm.
campaign stays in family friends longer, right? It
Well,
can't
yeah,
go public, is how
Correct.
yeah,
that
not
works.
yet until I raise that. Yep.
Right. So, one of the things as a community, we've experienced these campaigns at different phases of them, right? Anytime we kind of learn something, anytime we're exposed to something new, I like to tell you about it. We've been at campaigns where they needed us to help before the platform would open up their network of email addresses, right? So sometimes what happens, well, not sometimes, what happens with these portals is they say, okay, if you raise this amount, then you can come live, right? You can go, your campaign can be live. If you now meet the next threshold, then we'll open up a little bit of our network to you. Then if you reach the next threshold, we'll open up our whole network to you, right? And so that's the way these portals handle the campaign. And so when 10K kind of steps into the scene, and like we see, you know, we step in at different phases based on where the campaign, we're always helping them get to that next threshold, right? And ultimately that gets them to the million, the 5 million, whatever they're trying to raise. But on every campaign we've been a part of, and I know I haven't always shared that with you guys, but strategically, we've always been the catalyst they needed to get them to the next phase. And so, you know, tonight is a new phase for us. This is our first time in the family and friend zone helping Daniel be able to get this live. So I shared that with you, you know, just to let you know kind of where we are in this particular campaign, and really wanting you to see all of the different components of this equity crowdfunding journey that the founders go through. It's not a straight line for them. It's kind of like this, right? It's kind of this, it's kind of like heartbeat EKG line. It's not a straight line. You know, they have to work really hard. So just wanted to share that information with you to help you understand a little more globally about, you know, this thing that we're participating in called equity crowdfunding. With that said, I am going to give you a little more information. So once this campaign goes live, it will be for future equity, right? Has a $4.9 million valuation. The minimum to invest is $100. And I would assume that's in $100 increments after that, right, Daniel?
Yep. Yep.
Very good. Okay. And then Daniel has a few investor perks here. You guys know what I always share with you. For anyone here is the first time, I always tell you, please take the time and go through the campaign page. The founders put so much work and energy in making sure that everything they need you to know is there, right? Because most people don't get the benefit of having the founder come talk to them and being able to ask questions, right? Most people just happen upon the campaign page and all of the information they need to know is there. So please take some time and review it. If you have questions after this evening that pop into your head, you can ask them here on the platform. This is the best place for you to ask them, so that anyone else who sees the question and answer can then now be informed. So with that said, I am going to stop sharing, and then I am going to hand it over to Daniel and Mila to wow us.
Oh, absolutely. So what I
Thank
did,
you.
everybody, and so I can share my screen, which is awesome. I did for everybody, I shared with you all the pitch deck that I'm going. So everybody see my screen, by the way. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
everybody see it. So yeah, this pitch deck, it's is a link. We kind of, this is a link that we sent out to potential and or interested investors, and so we kind of send this link out, and so you can, you know, just to kind of save time, you can also, and after, you know, we complete this hour of the introduction, you can click to watch the video. It's the same video that's particularly in the WeFunder. So health blockchain security services, who are we, right? Health blockchain security services, we're basically what you call we're a SaaS company, or particularly a security as a service company. As it states here, we basically leveraging the cloud, you know, delivery model to provide managed security and compliance services for the blockchain ecosystem. So why are we doing this? Why are we, you know, getting into doing this? You know, being a security company, and some may have the question, and also you hear all the time with blockchain, you know, enthusiasts, blockchain is built on encryption. So, you know, why do you need a security company? You know, why do you need a managed security service company? Isn't the blockchain the way it's linked together? It's linked through its encryption, and it's immutable. So, you know, it's tamper proof. So, why do we still need security? And I always like to say this: anything in the digital world, you need security. It could be hackable. Just anything in the digital world, it can be hackable. So by touting this, oh, the blockchain, because and definitely it is, because the way the blocks are linked together through this encryption, absolutely. If you were to change a block, all of the blocks thereafter would know that. But here's where the problem comes in. Problem comes in when we start to create on this distributed ledger, known as when we start to create what is called smart contracts. When we start to create these, what we also another term, decentralized applications, right? Where it entails you have to write some code. You have to, these contracts or these smart contracts, which they are programmable code, right? Code logic. That's basically what they are. So when you introduce the human element into it, you run into some issues. You run into these problems of vulnerabilities, right? And as you see here, the vulnerabilities in smart contract code continually, and this number it is correct. It's over 2 billion in security breaches that happens, and it may potentially what's going on now. And this is just due to our research toward the latter part of last year. It increases probably tremendously. And so, just a quick note, every 1,000 lines of code, there's a guaranteed error. So hackers know this. They can exploit that, and then they can, get in and manipulate these vulnerabilities. You have what is called reentrancy attacks, or they can able to siphon the gas out. And so, um, due to this, we kind of said, well, let's create a business and where we can combine, with these vulnerabilities, or what we like to say, advanced persistent threats. Um, these hackers, why don't we kind of combine the elements of data scientists, and which is sort of in relation combining with blockchain, meaning that providing like security analytics or cybersecurity analytics application platform where it's based off the graph technology and being able to create these security metrics. And there are some businesses, and you will see as we go down in the pitch, we have some competitors that's kind of doing the same thing. But we all have our unique approach to this, right? And so that is where you see we bring in e-governance or e-provenance of governance to the blockchain ecosystem. And it's just sort of like, if you could say, self-governance, or particularly risk management or auditing of these smart contracts transacting across the distributed ledger. And so this is sort of like the focus. And so this is our solution. We kind of want to develop this analytics application. And here we have it's a quick demo of it. And you can click to watch the video after, to watch the demo, to give you kind of an idea of what this platform, we call it the BSECA platform. It just stands for Blockchain Security Analytics Platform, which it would be built in this cloud, AWS cloud platform. And so who are our competitors, right? So our competitors, as you can see, we have CipherTrace doing the same thing, pretty much. Blockwatch, QuantStamp, Elliptic, and there's a new one that we kind of did our research lately that you don't see here is Certic. They're kind of doing the same thing, and where they are providing some type of analysis. Some are very static in nature, but not necessarily dynamic analysis in nature, meaning that you still have to have this type of manual process to do the analysis. We had the idea of, let's automate this process and do this process in automation, doing this in real time. I have yet to see that automating process of scanning smart contract code for these vulnerabilities and then reporting on this. And this is all done, in an automation form. So this is sort of where we think we feel we have the competitive advantage. Currently, we are in the process of developing what we call our security a BSECA bot. It's a sort of a microservice. It's not quite like a chat bot. It is, if when I think of chat bot, I think of survey. So it's a little bit different, but we calling it an AI bot agent in a sense where this bot agent will be kind of proactively detecting, monitoring, and alerting, but the bot is doing this, right? And so that's the uniqueness that we value we bring in comparison to the competitors I mentioned. These competitors don't. We haven't seen them develop something of this nature, developing what we call a bot, a security bot that's not necessarily like your antivirus softwares that you see in your laptop. This is more so as it relates to your smart contracts transaction across the Ethereum, or even on the cryptocurrency side as well. For those that you may, those who wants to ensure that their wallets are secure, so that they're, the ETH gas doesn't get siphoned, or the wallets, they get locked out of the accounts, and the monies get taken from there. So the bot can also be a service to that as well. And so that's one of our competitive advantages that we are currently right now building that biometrics integration. This is a particular model with biometrics integration relating to the blockchain. And drone technology is another one from a security perspective. With drone technology, as these drones fly over you, the ranges or the geographic area of these drones and flying in these areas, you from a security perspective, you want to make sure that they're flying in their own space so that they won't interact or collide with one another. Blockchain in that area is showing some huge promises there. The market is still kind of small, but this is kind of outlining what we're getting into, and we feel this is a competitive advantage that we're having. We don't see our competitors having that on their on their scope yet at this point. IoT and quantum computing, again, blockchain, IoT. With quantum computing is the sort of the new, as we all know, is the up and coming technology as well. From an encryption perspective relating to the blockchain, is utilizing what is called a quantum safe model. And that as well is still sort of in its beginning stages, but it's showing some significant and huge promises. And so this is where we also is looking to get into. So, and then SC scanning, smart contract code scanning, doing this in real time, automating this, this smart contract scanning for vulnerabilities and et cetera, and then reporting on this. But we're doing this in real time because it's that proactive step. So what's our go-to market strategy, right? So our go-to-market strategy is sort of what we're doing, client acquisition. As you can see at the beginning, we have a couple of partners. They're in the healthcare space. They're interested in what we're working, doing, and building. They definitely wanting to partner with us. So we are in that process of acquiring or having some traction to acquire these clients is for that's interested in our business, and then retaining them. Right, once we acquire these clients, we built our ecosystem, the BSECA ecosystem. Once we acquire them, we have the ecosystem that we're building, which is BSECA. We be able to retain them by offering additional services where they don't have to go elsewhere to acquire or be interested in services. As they're coming across in our ecosystem and platform, we're learning the behavior of their, they could be blockchain clients or clients interested in blockchain, right? Wanting us to create the smart contracts for them, and then have them then provide the additional services that I mentioned there for them, sort of like this one-stop shop. So that's what we working on to retain rather these client retention to these clients. Broad market reach, right? As I mentioned, the traction we're getting is on the healthcare side. Some clients is interested, but we also just partner with a blockchain gaming company out of Vietnam, interested. We pitched to them, and they want us to partner with them and to be their security advisors. And they're interested in wanting to kind of use our ecosystem for their use cases. So we just partner with them. So what's the investment opportunity, right? So in this market of blockchain, a total addressable market, and this is kind of being, it may, it's going to increase, it's going to change. But this research came, we did this research, right, Mila, probably like the middle of last year when we pulled this research. So of
Took
course
us a
there's
while.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably another research that's going to come out, but as you can see here, our compound annual growth rate, the total addressable market is 32.39%, which it translates into 6.2 billion by 2026. It could be more. Right.
There's more
And
adoption of the blockchain now.
mhm. And so the specialization what we're in, what we call the addressable market, right? Which is we like to say smart contract security services. Globally, smart contract market size, right? You're looking at 345.4 million, and that has a compound annual growth rate of 18.1%. Here in the U.S., this was, in 2019. So again, this probably increased more. It's probably more than just here in the U.S. alone. It's probably more than that 30 million, right? But because this was just, in 2019, so we're 2022. You can look at it. It's probably, it probably doubled by now. But we when we did our research, we said, okay, out of this, what can HCISS obtain? What's our projection? What can our SAM, right? A service obtainable market. What can realistically, what can HCISS with the services we're doing and with the competitors that's in, with our competitors is in the same space that we're in? What's actually can we obtain? And it's 18.5 million. Now this number can increase as well due to, again, we're coming out of the pandemic, but also, we're experiencing some situations, right, as we all know, from a global perspective. But again, doing my research, I haven't seen much of a fluctuation of a decrease. Of course, with the cryptocurrency, at its peak, it dropped from, for Bitcoin was at 64,000, now somewhere between, I think, 30 something now. But again, it'll go up, in which it'll precipitate our service attainable market will increase. But this is 5.3% we calculated by 2027.
And it's very conservative.
Yeah. So our roadmap, right? Where are we with this bill? As I mentioned at the beginning, we're pre-seed, right? Which meaning that we're bootstrapping, right? And putting monies together, like Tawana said, trying to borrow from our rich uncles and aunties and begging them to give us the money so that we can continue to expand. So we went through these. We as you see this roadmap, you see highlighted is we went from the proof of concept, right? We have that in website development, and we have social media platforms. We created, and then the prototype. This is what we're doing. So to the expenses to develop the entire BSECA ecosystem, right? And you'll see as I go down further with the revenue models, we're breaking it up in chunks. So the way trying to, raise or get potential investors where you really, you just have some type of, as you will see here in the videos, it's just a like a model, a demo, but it's not actually the MVP, and where you all, what most investors would want you to have at this point in stage, or they're looking into, which is precipitating these seed rounds. When you get to the seed A and B, they generally want you to have some sales going on where you already having some clients lined up and waiting. And that's that MVP phase where you kind of doing this testing of it, and you working with your potential clients, and they're already using it and working on it and doing this beta testing. We're not there yet. We're kind of before that, and we're kind of taking bits and pieces to get there. We just try to say, what could we do, sort of these quick wins to build and develop, to raise some money much quicker, so that we can get to that level of building out the BSECA ecosystem, and then being able to have these potential clients testing on it, right? And so that's sort of where we are. You see here in number 4, that's sort of our step. Here's our revenue models into projections. So we kind of, we have, we got 3, but we have plenty more, but here's the 3 main ones that we feel that would get us quickly to be generating revenue quickly, to get us to the next steps of seed rounds and or of investments, right? These 3 smart contracts, which is again based off the volume of smart contracts, right, of subscription plan. Based on that, here's our target by 2027. We kind of broke it down. It's a target to be around that 50.3 million mark, based on the number of volume of smart contracts going across that distributed ledger. And it's significantly, it's last time we checked, nearly, it was like 1 point something million, and it's increasing as more and more businesses, more and more industries from all industries, construction, real estate, looking into this. The blockchain, as I mentioned, automotive, that's considering adopting smart insurance, healthcare. We were really, really conservative with building this subscription plan, and so that number can increase as well. And then we also develop what we call the HCISS Academy. Within our academy, we also we teachers. I am a teacher, instructor. I teach cybersecurity. Within our academy, we have a data literacy program to teach individuals about just the understanding of data, how data transact, right? This is important to understanding the blockchain technology, and in addition to we're moving into Web 3.0. And so, we also going to be teaching, as our ecosystem is built, we're also going to be educating and training on the ecosystem as well. And then we, within our ecosystem, we carved out, we are right now as well. Actually, we're done building, which is called we call it BSECA Link. It's actually a chain link oracle or chain link node validator. And chain link nodes, basically, what a validator does is just basically kind of like the bridge between offline data and online data of smart contract transactions, and providing that data, sort of like a data provider of real-time data to your smart contract clients that's transacting across the ledger. For example, if they needing to know and wanting to know when they're transacting their smart contracts, what's the correct price of the ETH gas, and etc. So that's an example of a node validator. Another service that we will be doing that as well is the smart contract automation as well of scanning of code. We'll be providing in the node validator. We call it node as a service is what we're providing. This node validator is built in the AWS secure cloud platform. And we actually just complete building it. We're in the testing phase right now of it. And so we will be looking for beta testers to be testing out this node, those who have, adopted or utilizing smart contracts. And so these are the three primary revenue models that we're starting with. We figured these are the quick wins to get us to start generating some revenue quickly here, to be able to sustain us as we continue to build out the primary ecosystem, which we call the BSECA platform there. So here's our projections. As you can see here, we didn't, because we're in 2022. So 2022 is still a phase of building. We didn't add 2022 right now, but we're going by, if you're looking at a complete year projection, 2023, we targeting to be our complete year of projections. And as you can see, with that revenue is 3.8 million. And then, of course, it doubles, over year, particularly year over year by the fifth year. And so we were very when we put this together in based off the markets, we were really, very conservative in putting this together. And this is a target absolutely we can reach here. So here's our team. Who's working with who's the team? Who's HCISS? As you can see, we have our team here. We have a couple of blockchain developers. We have a financial consultant. We even have advisors, educator. We all know Dr. K, whose advisor's been really great with advising HCISS. Washington, Neela, managing partners, chief operating officer, doing a great job. Spectacular. That got us to this level. Her just sleepless nights and really, working together and continuously doing so and putting this together. And then the fantastic blockchain developers, I can't ask for more, Daniel Morales and even Washington. I call Washington. He's also a managing partner. He's the brains behind this ecosystem. It's time is flying. It's a couple years ago, right before the pandemic, is when I really started, to provide the security as a service for the blockchain in Washington. I had this idea, and he kind of he's the architect. He put it together, he put it designed, he put it all in the paper. He's the guy behind what you see here, in creating this pitch deck and putting things together. And so, as I mentioned, Jake, Daniel, and then Sadhu, who's another great advisor. And then we have Nero, great guy, cybersecurity. He's been doing cybersecurity for some years. He's kind of consultant. So as we expand here, we will be kind of, more so looking for individuals to be on the executive team and plugging in certain areas of the executive team to take HCISS to the next level. So if any of you wants to see our business plan, we do have a business plan where you can really understand everything relating to HCISS. I know this is just a quick pitch deck overview, kind of more a high level, but then here's our ask, right? So which Neela did a great job putting this together, kind of broke this down. Being realistic, right? We kind of want to raise 1.5 million. This would give us sort of the two-year runway period. And kind of with our startup costs, this can, of course, will probably increase over time, particularly now with the inflation going on. Product development, operational costs, and the marketing. These are certain areas. And then in again, salaries, trying to do much as you can as a startup by utilizing consultants, and et cetera, to kind of minimize the salary as you expand. And then, and also more so, areas where we needing to, create a, build out and continue building out our, what we call a marketing nurturing system or a marketing strategy plan. And that's someone that can really, as we focus on other aspects, but really kind of focus on targeting these certain clients that's interested in us and really understanding, how, or help them understand how they could use our services. Because a lot of clients say, man, I like that. That's awesome. That's great. And I want to adopt the blockchain, and I want to use it, but, not quite understanding, or, have an assessment and helping them really see that, do you really need the blockchain, or do you really need our services? Of course, security, because they see security, they like, oh man, I need it, and they want to adopt the blockchain. So really assessing that, understanding what's that cost relating to, why, and understanding, why you want to use a blockchain, where do you see the blockchain can be a benefit for you, that it can do more for you from cost wise as it relates to that, a particular task or problem that you have, can it be done without the blockchain? So those are the questions where we are talking with some of them that are partners, really just helping them to understand, blockchain, what is blockchain really? And so that's where we are. But yeah, this is it. This is our pitch. Any questions or for us, anybody, I'm
Yes.
opening it up. I hand it back to
Awesome.
you, Tawana.
Wonderful pitch, Daniel. Very, very good. Guys, I see some questions in the Q&A already. If you
Yes.
have any, please go ahead and put them there. Daniel, I have one comment and then I guess kind of a question. So,
Yep.
as some, we've got 79 people on here tonight, right? And at different levels of knowledge on crypto and blockchain and all of that, right? How it all works, the inner workings of it. And I know for some, they're probably thinking, I don't know what all of this even means, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say this. Just since I've been in the space, my data has been stolen, right? From different hacks, right? And this is just on an individual level, right? My data's been stolen. I get potential scammers like 5-6 times a day. Somebody's trying to scam me out of something. You get the emails that come through. You get now text messages, click this link, click that link. And I know that's a little different than what you're solving for. But my point is, as Daniel talked about the insurance companies, healthcare companies, all of these big industries are getting ready to use blockchain technology and smart contracts, right? And if the scammers and the fraudsters and the hackers are trying to get little old me, right? Imagine what they're going to be trying to do to these big conglomerates, right?
Yep.
It really is going to be all about who has the best protections, right? Who has the best security. And so even if you don't understand what blockchain is and what a smart contract is really, and all of this stuff, know that with any emerging technology, right, that has the potential for there to be a reward of money or data that they can then sell. Or, we hear about the hospitals that have been held hostage when people tap into their systems, like all of this stuff. Imagine how the various levels of security is necessary and how good it has to be. And so I just want to say, you may not understand all of the terminologies that Daniel just went through or all the technology, but know that when you get into this system, when you get into the systems and the big players get in, security is going to be everything to them, right? It'll make or break them. And I don't know, Daniel, if you want to add a little something to that, but that's why Daniel's solution is so epic. So don't feel like this was over your head with some of the information if you're not in the space closely, but know that this is critical for the future, the near future.
So
take over.
Yeah, absolutely. So to add to what you're saying, Tawana, here's what we did. So you write, terms that I'm using in some of you on here, who's a blockchain enthusiast, these terms that I'm speaking of, but then some who don't, right? One of the things that in our revenue model, in going back to our revenue model here is the HCISS Academy. The main start is what you don't see businesses doing, and this is what we're doing to start with the HCISS Academy here. Where I was scrolling, I must have missed it here. Here, oops. Going here is the HCISS Academy. We have a program, it's a data literacy program. Now, just so everybody will know, we are currently right now, we're redesigning, we're revamping everything right now. Because as we are expanding a little bit too right now. So as you can see, we got more individuals. We joined the Chainlink Discord channel, the community. We trying to expand the business and expand our community. So one of the things in business, and this is something that even if you just to protect your own to start, is there needs to be what is missing is what we call a data literacy program. A data literacy program, meaning that you don't have to be, knowing, calling a code function or all of in the smart contract code, if then else, how where these contracts lie at or sits at, that sits in the EVM or smart contract. You don't, to get to that, but you first off, we need to learn the data literacy, particularly like, for example, how does the data behave when the data is sitting in these devices? Meaning, as what Tawana said, so that I can know when I am being scammed or when I'm being hacked. So how does my data behave when it's sitting at rest? And then how does my data behave, or how does the data behave as it's transacting across the network, right? And then when it gets to its destination point, then how does it? So that's what we need to understand. It's data literacy. It's a program to understand how the data behaves and how the data performs. So that's just a basic step to start there. That hasn't had, you don't have to do anything with coding and what we're talking about as, getting in the advanced level, because reason why I'm speaking it is because your hackers know this like the back of their hand. They know that even the IT professionals and executives that's running these businesses, they know that they don't know how the data behaves. They don't know how the data transact. And that's key to understanding. And so, myself, I'm a data scientist by profession, as you see in the video. That's the first thing you learn when data scientists are how, to be able to create what we call these models or these data models. And so as a client come across our platform, once these clients is in our platform, we can learn the behavior of how the data behaves, and then we can build out what you call the AI models. And I know I'm gonna start saying some terms that's unfamiliar, and so for those of you, it is machine learning, reinforcement learning, right? And taking it to the next level on the AI level, where you're doing more of, natural language processing and et cetera, to understand how that data behaves. And then you can build out data models that can further help a client to be proactive with security, or what we like to term it, advanced persistent security threats. Companies out here doing that too as well. And like I said, our competitors are, but we all are very unique in our ways of how we're approaching it, and going about it.
Wonderful. Thank you for adding that. And this is a global problem. So there's space, right? There's room for another company with a solution in this space, because this is a global problem. All right, we've got some questions. Kevin says, how are you, or what source are you using to derive those forecasts? What market size you can service along with the price points?
Did you want to answer that, Mila, or I can give you a chance?
Go ahead. I was typing a reply on one of the questions. I'm
Oh, no,
sorry.
Mila, we read them and we answer them live so that everybody can hear them and get the answer.
Okay.
Yep. So where we getting this market research, right? I can't remember now because this research,
We
wow.
did a, well, let me just say,
Uh,
we we have to, honestly, the marketing research that we tried to pursue before was very cost prohibitive for us. We're a startup company and we couldn't afford what was being charged. So what we did is we look into
yeah,
the
we did,
market
right, like
and did a
Coinbase.
lot of references where we could find the numbers. Nobody actually wants to give us a number unless we could pay for the research. And there's not a whole lot of public revenue there as far as the companies are concerned. We had to go
Right.
by what we could get at the moment, which was the projected global revenue. And then we
So
had to go geographically for our market.
exactly. And so to also to add to that though, to answer this question, we also had to kind of, you know, rub shoulders or pull some teeth and look at our competitors and see
Mm-hmm.
how and what
That's
they
another
were
thing.
doing, how they did the market research. And then we kind of kind of built it that way by saying, okay, try to, by looking at, you can go on, forget now, to the exchanges to see how they're doing and what they're doing as it relates to revenue, or just trying to looking at their profile and try to get more, and then try to see how they're doing in the market and in the increase in the market. Because as Mila said, to actually get concrete actual numbers, of course, from the marketing, there's some tools they wanted to charge you like $2,000. Like for example, if you were to give you a perfect example, if I was to Google smart contract security as a service, right? Because that's actually what we're doing. So you're going to get in Google research always works, right? That's the step. That's the start. Um, Without paying a lot of money for it, you're going to get various, research documents on it. And then so we kind of grabbed all these various research documents, put it together, and then that's how we were able to create our price points that you see here, just based off looking at and seeing what our competitors doing, their profile, googling and pulling up various researches, not researching exactly what we actually do to see who who's in this smart contract security market because they wanted you to, they charge a lot of money for it. So that's kind of like how we kind of
There's
built
some,
this.
yeah, there's some public records that are available also for the
Yeah.
revenue that they make for the year. And we also look at how long they've been in the business because we have to project from our point of view when we make our model. We have to look and see the potential that we can make, how long it would take for us to get there. And if those numbers are actually true as stated, because it's there's really hard to correlate it with any other number other than what's published. Some companies would publish what they make, and some other companies referring to a particular company, you'll be able to get a number as far as how much they've made and um, what they're sharing in the market. But you
Mhm.
actually have to go to a lot of reports, blogs. It
Mhm.
took us a while. I think it took us. We started back in February or March of last year to get started on our marketing, and we had revised it, I think, 2 or 3 times already because the numbers just keep changing. The growth is tremendous. That's one thing about the business that we're considering as far as the blockchain technology. The growth is tremendous. As you can see, tokens are going up like crazy. They do fall back, just like the Bitcoin. It went up as high as 64K, but now it's back again, I think, to about 42 or something like that. And again, because of other constraints, including the war happening in Ukraine, I think the market will fluctuate as far as the prices. But the business is there for the smart contract. I mean, the adoption is tremendous. We're getting a lot of traction on that. Warren Buffett said, he invested about what, $1 billion on blockchain. You know, um, Tesla, Elon Musk is talking about it. So
Mhm.
We're looking at a very good market. A little slow for us to start. That's why we're doing everything we can as far as marketing. But we have had a lot of positive response from a lot of people. They could be developers, businesses, potential partners, um, anybody that we talk to. We we're pretty open with the opinions of other people. That's kind of how we get an idea of how our market is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Mila, I'm gonna go ahead and read the answer you gave to Jesse so that everyone can hear the question and answer. And we'll just go ahead and read them out loud. You don't have to type the answer. So
Okay.
Jesse asks, could you explain smart contracts better to us laymen? Mila responded, smart contract is an agreement between two entities in the form of a computer code running on the blockchain, stored on a
Mm-hmm.
public database, and when conditions are met, it will
Yep.
execute automatically without human intervention.
Yep. That's it. Yep.
Very good.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for that,
Mm-hmm.
Mila.
Okay.
Ayana says, how many employees currently work full time on this company? How many employees are you planning to bring on before reaching the next funding round?
Wow.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
let's leave that up on the screen so that we can break that up. So how many currently work full time for the company?
So currently work full time. One, two, three, four. Currently. Um, that's that four of us, right? Currently working full time. Um, and what was the second question?
And how many employees are you planning to bring on before reaching the next funding round? So in your 1.5 million raise, you had
Mhm.
354,000 and change. I think it listed for
Yeah,
salaries.
yeah,
Salaries, right?
How many
yeah.
people will that cut? Will that pay for?
Well, once we get the chain link node in operation, that runs 24/7 pretty much.
Mhm. Yeah.
We only have two people right now that we are depending on that, and
Hmm.
that would be the blockchain developer and our managing partner. And then there's me and Daniel. We wear so many hats.
Yeah,
For those of you who are starting business, you
yeah,
probably could share
yeah.
your experiences with us. But one thing that I learned, I used to start up business. My specialty is healthcare. I used to start up a business for private practice, but
Mhm.
starting in the blockchain is different because you actually need experts. You need developers who are
Yeah,
actually experts in blockchain.
yeah. So
You
that's
need
I was
cybersec experts.
exactly. So that's what I was going to say. It kind of depends on like so where we are right now. It's like where we are. So as Mila said, we right now um just completed the the BSECA link, right?
The
And
link
as Mila
node, yeah.
said, we only, we got two. So it is once we go into the main net, right? So we're in the testing stage. Main net just means once we go live. But what we're trying to do is during this testing phase to get beta testers to be, could be, clients. And so once we do, or our approach is joining the communities in the Chainlink communities so to get other developers to be kind of testing our node as a service, right? In the testing phase, potentially we prefer clients that of would become our clients. And so when we go to the main net or go live, what we anticipating that we want to go live by, I think we said May
Main.
30th, that
Mhm.
give us a couple, months or three here to be testing it, building that, continuing doing our marketing nurturing system or building the marketing aspect to get more interested clients to be utilizing these nodes to generate revenue. That will, it, it's kind of hard to say we need 10 more people or we need 15 more people because once we start generating revenue and how that revenue or how clients or how we acquiring a client, if that, let's say we get 100 clients by the time we go live May 30th, that could translate into we need to hire about almost 10 to 20 more people, in these special developers or blockchain developers to support the the uh, the uh, the BSECA link, right? And so I don't know if I answered the question as it relates to you were looking for a number, but that I just basically is when this node go live and we generating some revenue and depend on how much of clients we acquiring through the use of this node, that will, you know, precipitate what, how many people we can hire. So sorry, I couldn't give you a direct answer to like we need 10 or 15 more, but just know that we will be expanding. We will be looking to hire
Yeah.
more people. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
No,
would
that's
love to
great.
have a lot of people.
Yeah.
Very good. I actually think your answer was better than a number because you explained the process and the rationale behind it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love that. So you mentioned again just now the beta testing. So I'm going to ask Michael's question. How do you become a beta tester?
On our node, how do you become a beta tester?
We're soliciting.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere small or medium. We are actually open for any size business. The hardest part in doing this chain link node is to get clients or customers because we have to set our reputation as reliable, as dependable. And one of the things that a lot of the companies, because this is in the DeFi, decentralized
Right,
finance, yeah.
right. So, right. I was just going to say, if you are a DeFi client, and or you, because on the chain links, right, most of them in that community, you're a DeFi client, and you wanting to use the chain link market. So, what we need to do, and this is a part I didn't mention.
And let me just
I'm gonna
say
start
that
this now.
DeFi, yeah, explain what
Right.
DeFi companies are, yeah.
Right. So basically what we have to do is once the node or we go live with the node, you would put your node on the chain link markets where DeFi, all these clients are in the chain link market. So if you to become a beta tester, you would you would you would more likely be a DeFi client. Um, and you if you would probably you would have to be part of the chain link markets, and so that once you part of the chain link markets, which you would see the nodes out there on the chain link markets, right, and you want to be utilizing that node to transact your smart contracts, in essence you would be looking or beta testing. You would say, well, hey, I met, I'm on the DeFi, or I'm a DeFi company, I want to get on the chain link markets, and I want to use BSECA link. So that's sort of how it works to become a beta tester. And so what we're saying by beta testers is we're trying to join communities where, where the DeFi, where they're at, right? That's using Chainlink. So in other words, they're using Chainlink or they're interested. And so this is what we're doing currently right now. We have Chi, right? Mila is doing the research, marketing research,
Mm-hmm.
as to say, where are these clients? How can we get these clients to be, beta testers? Are they, are they in that DeFi, or are they on the chain link markets as a DeFi client? Are they looking? So that's sort of what we're trying to do, and that's sort of how you become a beta tester. If that I hope that I didn't confuse you, and that makes sense.
And DeFi, it
Right?
is it covers a lot. It could be insurance,
Yeah.
it could be
Hmm.
banking, it could be
Yeah.
payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of companies out there.
So yeah, it would, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to tie two questions in together. So what I'm seeing a trend is people are asking for clarification on who your target customer would be.
Hmm.
So who is your
Hmm.
target customer?
Right, exactly. And I knew this was going. So target customer, realistically, target customer, which we who we partners with right now, right?
Yeah,
And
pretty
healthcare
much.
clients,
Yes.
Suncoast, RHIO, and diaspora care as target clients. And also, I mentioned we partner with the blockchain gaming company. So that's sort of our two, if you will, just due to the traction, right? That's our target clients, and that will be expanded. But we could service any industry,
Yeah.
right? Because we're
Data
not
is
limited,
data, you
right?
know.
We're not our platform, right? It's not limited to one specific, you know, industry. But yeah, if you target the question, target is what we are. Attraction clients is saying, hey, Daniel, you know, I want to do something. Let's build some use cases. Diaspora Care and Suncoast RHIO and SnakeCity.io, which is a blockchain gaming company out of Vietnam.
And let me just expand on that a little bit. The reason why it's not as specific as probably saying, oh, I want this many customers in this field is because if you look at our business model, we created an ecosystem where in different parts of that ecosystem, we're targeting actually a variety of customers. Um, when we set up our business model, the heart of our business model is the Biseka platform, which is on AWS. That actually is the ecosystem. But branching out of that, that's the heart of our business. But branching out of that is the link node. A link node is just a computer, an IP address. We call it a node, but it's just a computer physically, an IP address. And we connect that to the chain link market. And that's how we're going to be able to get our clientele or our beta testers. Now, in healthcare, the reason why we have these customers in healthcare, I do have a background in healthcare. I have over 30 years of background in healthcare, and I do take care of data, EHR. I'm familiar with revenue, and I've been in the business for a while. And that's how I actually met Daniel when he took his master's for health informatics. But diaspora care is almost like an ecosystem by itself too. It takes care of pharmacy, payment, care. So those are the two companies that happen to get interested in us early in the early stages of setting up the business. And so that's the reason why the health in the blockchain is not necessarily pertaining to just healthcare. It is just the health or the state of your blockchain. That's basically what it is. And it just so happened that everybody seems to think that when we say health blockchain is always healthcare, but it doesn't have to be healthcare.
Yeah, I quick
Go ahead, Daniel.
to one. Yeah, I just want to add one thing. Another answer to that question also is because we building the node, the the beta testers also would really who is interested in our node as a service will also kind of dictate who would be our target, more of our target customers too, as more and more come across or wanting to use, our services, then we would really get a clearer picture of, yeah, this, and then we go after that target customer and just really start just a full blast marketing campaign towards them, right? um we're not big enough, big enough. Of course, we in the long term, yeah, we say we could service all these industries and what we have is traction. But the real answer to that question is once we, beta testers more come across and wanting to be using that node as a service, we would it would come that picture would come clearer as to who is our target clients.
Okay. So I'm looking at the questions and I'm kind of picking and choosing questions. So if I haven't read yours yet, play along because I'm going based on how I see the questions coming, and I want to make sure
Mhm.
we're telling the story properly. So Michael said, why would someone need a smart contract? Give a real world example of a smart contract. And I don't only want you to give a real world example of one. I'd like for you to give a real world example of one and then tell us how your solution helps in that example, because I feel like the community needs to tie this together, because again, not
Mhm.
everybody is in the space.
Mhm. You want me to talk about that, Mila, or you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow, that was a loaded question, a lot of questions, right? So the first question was give an example of
A real
someone
world, a
wanting to
real
use
world,
real world
a real world
appliance.
example of smart contract between two people.
You could use real estate or
Yeah, but
identity
I'm
for
trying to think.
identity. Yeah.
Right, I'm trying to think of one. Or yeah, or insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and particularly healthcare insurance with claims, um, is one. Uh, and how why would our service be? So what's the second question? Why would our service?
How
How,
does your service support that interaction?
right. Well, that interaction meaning that where we're scanning their code, right? So in the essence of if you're creating, you're finding loopholes in the code of their of the code writing. And by scanning that code, which is a service to find the vulnerabilities of the code writing and reporting on these vulnerabilities, right? So we wanting to automate that process, of scanning the vulnerabilities. And so when you, as Mia says, when two agreed upon contracts, for example, a real estate to do like a real estate of a home or closing of a home or leasing of a home, um, and that is the code as it relates to the agreement, the transacting these two codes, these between the two parties. Um, that
Can I
writing,
also can I also say that when you buy a home and there's a transfer of title, everything is
mhm,
standardized. There's banking statements, references, credit history, and stuff like that. As long as those conditions are met within that contract, it could actually execute. Now, for us, what we're trying to do as far as our Bizeka platform, we are trying to encourage uh, companies to send those smart contracts to us because the purpose of our business is to scan those smart contracts. Just like Daniel said, for every 1,000 lines of code, there's an error. There could be a malware that's inserted in there. There could be a misbehavior code that's
mhm,
inserted in there. Our
yeah,
job, our whole philosophy is to secure that smart contract, whether it'll be misbehavior, malware, any kind of breach, miscoding, errors in the coding, um, anything that covers the coding
yeah,
in that smart contract. Our purpose is to detect that. And I saw in one of the questions it
and,
says, "What do you mean live or scanning that smart contract?" Most companies are very reactive. They don't get that data at the time that it's happening. You know how a telemetry occurs when you have an EKG hookup and you see that heart rate going up there on the screen or coming down or an irregular beat? That's what our business is about. We're trying to help the blockchain, let me just say, DeFi companies using the blockchain to be able to detect that. Because if you are in our business, we keep our ears to what's happening. There's a lot of breaches that's happening in cryptocurrency. There could be breaches or just what they call a Trojan, meaning that they
yeah.
introduce that and spread that within their system or within
So,
um, their hardware or within
mhm,
their network. And part of our business is just to monitor all of those things. We're not just focusing just on the blockchain, we are also focusing on the whole overall view of that network and that system because to be able to be preventive and proactive, we have to be able to understand how that existing system is and what are the measures that they've done to protect their company.
Very good. Very good, Mila. I think that helped define it a little bit better. I'll just kind of try to help and give a very simple example. You guys tell me if this is right or not. So let's say it's a life insurance company, life insurance claim. And the smart contract says that when Lucy Smith dies, Brad Smith gets the money. But somewhere in there, in that code, there's some secondary code that might have been embedded, falsely, that switches the money from Brad to Herman Johnson. Don't nobody know who Herman Johnson is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at that code to make sure there's nothing that manipulated the contract from its original creation, right? Is that what I'm understanding
Yeah,
properly?
Yes. Yeah.
I was just going to say that, yeah, absolutely. So when they call the function, right, which you just described, Tawana, when it calls a function, sometimes when the coder writes their code, and sometimes they leave a loop back, or a loop, so that they can get back in to modify the code or change the
Right.
code. And sometimes they don't close that particular function call, right? And so what happens is you know your hacker can siphon out the ETH gas, would leave your smart contract vulnerable. So the title, or the lease between the two individuals, could be exposed, or the monies between, or transfer between two individuals, can be stolen or be taken out.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're saying is, and it depends on the writing of the lines of code, because that's what you're scanning, the lines of code of a smart contract, and you're checking for what is called that's what we, and what Tawana just started out to talk about and describe. That is called what we call a reentrancy attack
Yeah.
that can
Breach.
happen, right? And so what we're saying, usually, they have to, it's reactive in nature. It's like, it happened already, so I have to find out what happened, right? So it's like, okay, I have to, this happened already, so now you go through your manual procedures to find out what happened. It's too late, it's gone already. So we're saying, scan it, detect it first,
First.
this vulnerability and monitor this, and then create a report on it, but it's proactive in nature. And you can alert on it, you can notify it. In fact, you could create what we're getting into, a bot that can actually correct it, and sort of like prevent that, or close that loophole. So that's what we mean when we're talking about detecting, monitoring, reporting, and alerting, um, and solving that. But it's proactive in nature, because of the way our microservice, the bot, will behave,
Wonderful.
utilizing the advances of the technology. We're talking about machine learning, or auto ML, which is considered as real time, or what we like to use a term a lot, Mila, is operationalizing the analytics.
Analytics. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So just if anybody's lost, think of that example, right? And
Hmm.
think of it, it's not, so if they change it to Harold Johnson, Harold doesn't get a check in the mail through snail mail, right? In a smart
Hmm.
contract, that payment to Harold is instantaneous, right? And if
Exactly.
Harold wasn't supposed to get it, then that could be $500,000 life insurance claim. Harold
Uh-huh.
Harold's just SOL, right? I mean, no, Harold's not
Yeah.
SOL. Everybody else is SOL. Harold's is sitting
Yeah.
on hold, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can't get it back because Harold has it now, right? It's in Harold's
Exactly.
bank account somewhere, and you can't pull it back. So the benefit of scanning this, pre-scanning it before, and this is moments, like
Yeah.
milliseconds, right? This
Yeah.
is not somebody looking at it saying, oh, look at that, oh, 2 minutes later there at the end of it. This is a microsecond of scanning and review to
Yep.
make sure it's legitimate
CMS.
Yeah.
before it goes to Harold, right? And
Can
Hmm.
I
so
also
that's
can
why
I
this is
also
important.
add to that is that it's encrypted, okay? And there's always going to be some kind of digital um mark on it. Anything that goes through the blockchain will have a lock and key. They're going to be encrypted so that if Harold wants to intervene in there and he doesn't have the key, he can't unlock that transaction. That transaction will go to the right person. That's a good thing about a smart contract. You don't really need an intervention. And again, with the link node that we're providing, which is part of the ecosystem in our business model, that link node would be able to get that data out off the chain and say, okay, let's go look for Harold. Is Harold actually the right person? And the right person that they designated, okay, to inherit that would have information available somewhere else, whether it'll be on the chain or off the chain. And that would have to be verified. And that money will not be released until it's authenticated.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm going to go through some of these questions kind of fast. Tammy says PayPal can really use you. Anonymous asks a question that you cannot legally answer, so I'm going to answer it for Anonymous. So Anonymous says, I want to invest $100. Where do I profit or see a return on my investment? So Anonymous, the SEC does not allow a founder to answer questions or make promises or commitments of returns. So, as with any investment, there are no guarantees. So we can't talk about what your returns are. This was a future, if you look on the campaign page, it was a future equity offer, which means that at such time that Daniel's company has a liquidity event, be it sold, go public, has another raise, then at that point, these turn into shares. And then
Yeah.
at that point, you would assume some kind of return because now you own
Exactly.
shares that would be worth more tomorrow than they are today, right? So the concept is you buy them cheap and you sell them high. But
Yeah.
that's really all the law allows us to say about the potential ROI for you. The next question or comment, Michael says insurance companies will never pay automatically. I don't know, Michael. I think you're going to see smart contracts be utilized in every single industry. That's why companies like this are important, because insurance companies are trying to figure out how to do it and do it right.
And
So
you
I
know,
don't
in
agree.
no, in
Yeah,
fact, they are. They are.
yeah,
A bunch of them are.
yeah.
They are. They all are. Due to fear from missing out. So you're going to have two sides of the coin, because every with blockchain, it's going to precipitate, you know, the control of it, particularly relating to insurance companies. The control will be the client, and that's what they're going to want. So they, of course, they're going to always talk down about the technology and say, "Oh, no one will pay." Yeah, they're doing it. They say that, but they are. They're yeah, they're getting into it. Absolutely, they are. They just trying to. Blockchain is decentralized, but again, when you have a person that still wants to have a centralized control to it, you're going to get that type of reaction. Yeah.
Jesse said, do
Can
you have your own blockchain, or is your solution riding on top of someone else's? You
It's
mentioned
it's
AWS.
so it's when you're talking blockchain, the platform is Ethereum
right.
that we're riding on. That's the question, right? It's an existing blockchain. Eventually, as we expand and we grow, that will be the BSECA. It will be a sort of this graph blockchain type technology. But yes, it's riding on the existing blockchain platform, which is Ethereum. The good thing about our cloud platform, it doesn't have to be Ethereum. It can be what's another Cardano.
Hyperledger,
Yeah,
Hyperledger, yeah.
yeah,
Cardano.
yeah.
There's so many blockchain
Hmm.
platforms out there nowadays,
Yeah,
Okay.
going faster.
yeah,
Right. Kevin
yeah.
says, do you have to train your software to scan your client's software for vulnerabilities, or is it self-learning without human intervention or training?
That's the goal.
Mm,
Self-learning. Yep,
yeah,
that's the goal.
it's Daniel calls it
Utilizing.
federated learning.
Yep,
You know,
federated learning. Yep. It would be federated learning, the microservice. Federated learning is it goes through each of the nodes, learn the behavior of that particular application of software, and it reacts to it. It's called federated learning.
Ayana says, what's the timeline for what's the timeline for partnership with the company in Vietnam? And then what is the potential projected revenue stream for this partnership in particular?
Um, with
we
the snakecity.io.
yeah, yeah. We're on the security advisory board.
of
Um,
them.
we
We
we we
established.
met, yeah, we met this
So I
company actually.
so I'm not sure if I understand that
I
question,
think
but
maybe Ayana may have
we
misunderstood the question.
yeah,
So
we
you're not
already
doing,
partners. We already partners with them, um, as it relates to the services we're going to provide for them. That's in discussions. I think that's what Ayana is asking. But the partnership now is the partnership as it relates to starting out is we are the security advisors and we're discussions and as it relates to how our service, what type of services we're going to provide for them as a blockchain gaming company. Did that, so a timeline I can't really.
well, I think she's asking for revenue. So out of
Yeah,
that partnership, if you provide them with the service, what's the revenue projections for that?
We have not discussed that
yeah, we
at
yeah,
this
you want.
at this
Yeah,
point.
that's in discussions, put it that way.
Yeah.
That's in discussions. I want to give a number and yeah, that's in
Right.
discussions right now.
Okay. Who are you, Kevin says, who are you relying upon for those revenue projections, in-house or consultant? What is the basis of confidence in those projections? So Kevin's talking about the projections you showed on your slides.
Yeah, combination of both consultants and in-house, uh as it relates with you talking about here, right?
I think
um
so, yes.
yeah, it's a combination of both us and consultants
Right.
we used. um yeah.
Okay. And then Kevin also says, who are the firms that you got the cost prohibitive quotes from doing the market research?
I think I really don't want to disclose that because what ended up happening is we didn't use their market research because it was kind of high, but we ended up working with the same company for some future marketing strategy. So we decided because we have worked with this person for a while, um, that we're just not going to go for that part of that business as far as the research. But we have decided to keep the relationship with the same company because, um, is he the owner, Daniel? He's the owner. He's been very, very supportive and has a lot of ideas on how we can go about in our marketing strategy. So we
Oh,
may not have done that one part of the business, but we're in good terms with them as far as the rest of the relationship because they're willing to support us in other part of our marketing strategy, because it's not just the research that we have to worry about. We also have to worry about our marketing as far as marketing and reaching out to customers. And then all the social media platforms, all the
right.
nurturing that we have as far as our marketing is concerned.
Yeah,
We do
yeah,
have a lot of people helping us on that one, including that one company that we had. We didn't accept the marketing research that
yeah.
they offered. Yeah.
But I think Neil Kevin's question was, I just want to be clear. I think his question was what companies did we use to pull our research, to put our research together, these numbers. What's that? The question,
That is what I
Monica?
believe Kevin was asking. Yes.
What
What
he
was
was
the,
asking.
yep.
What was that strategy? What did we use for that? Not what we
Remember how
anticipated. We
right?
use
We
right.
did a lot of research on other people's or
Wow,
other
I can't.
companies'
Yeah, we
subscription.
did. I remember we did Block Watch was one. We did Coin Stamp.
Hmm.
Uh it was Black Watch, Quan Stamp,
The
and
companies that we have listed on our We
yeah,
Find.
they listed.
Yeah.
Yeah, those companies, and again, it was just like really like just trying to just really trying to find a needle in a haystack type situation, and where it was a culmination. I can't say specifically we went to this source and we used that source, right? It was a combination of sources
Yes. It
um,
was actually
like
initially from,
Coinbase,
yeah.
right? Coinbase, Binance. It was just like Mila said. It was a lot of due diligence type processing on our own because you know to readily get that information to pull this, we had to like do it. Took days to grab from various pieces, and then like I said, Neil and I, we and the rest of the
It
team
took us more
spent
than
like
3 months, I think, to
yeah,
come up with a subscription.
yeah, we
Just a
kind of
subscription, yeah,
right, like, and then utilizing again consultants too, who also specialized in that marketing type research, was
yeah.
able to
We
pull
did
that
get help
information
a
for
little
us.
bit with that. Yeah,
Yeah, so it was it
we
was
did.
it was just a combination of things. I can't say specifically like, yeah, we use Binance or we use Coinbase, and that's where we got all our
Yeah,
information from.
we had to be
It was
competitive with our pricing and the subscription.
Yeah. So right, and just yeah, just by looking at how Blockwatch did their subscription and looking at QuantStamp, and then we had a consultant, and then we kind of work with them and say, hey, work your magic, so to speak, pull it together, and then we all regroup, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was a lot of that going on.
yeah. A lot of
Yeah,
research on our part, and then working with
yeah,
consultants so that they could consider
yeah.
which was
So
actually applicable for what we're doing and what we're
yeah,
trying
it
to
was.
achieve.
Yeah, so it wasn't like pulling numbers out of thin air. It was, yeah, it was, like I said, a lot of sleepless nights putting these numbers together. And trust me, we kind of
We
made some
revised it two
errors.
or
We
three
revised
times,
it
right?
more than that. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
we had to
a
start
good,
from scratch so many times.
yeah. And then a good thing I can say too was great. We had a guy from here from the SCORE, the SBA, which was a financial expert, and working with him, and him, he's sort of like he's our mentor, the HCISS, and so really
Yeah,
as well having weekly meetings with him, and we would go back, as Mila said, back to the
yeah,
drawing board and revise. Yeah, so there was a lot of that going on.
Very
Absolutely.
good.
yeah,
Jesse says, and this is a great question. Jesse says, since you are telling my company you are protecting my smart contracts, who is liable for any failure of security of the smart contract? I would imagine you would have force majeure language in your agreements with anyone.
Exactly, with anyone that,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Now, so and again, here's the thing too. So keep in mind, as we build in our ecosystem too, we have to be as well with the system. We have to go through what is called ISO SOC compliance as well to
hmm,
ensure that the system is doing and relating to protecting the data. So one of our service models or revenue service models that we are, and you don't see here, is that agreement to want to say, which is called compliance as a service, to
yeah,
state that in that compliance, for some reason that the failure or the breach didn't happen because of HCISS, it was on your end, you would have to, they call it cyber insurance.
right.
So and so with monitoring that threshold in of your transactions across, now if it's on, and again we again, as Tawana says, the agreement would dictate a how, but just know that as a business in the security, the system itself has to go through, once it's completed and it's done and it's built, it has to go through what is called ISO, and it has to be SOC compliance, the system itself, to
Right.
protect that data, um, you know, as it's, in
Who's the
accordance to
governing
very
body over that? Who reviews the system at that level?
well. Our
Just
system is, yeah, our system is not up yet, right? But once it comes up, who is the ISO, right?
yes,
Is it would
yes.
be the government, the NIST. So you would have to be adhering, and again, as we grow, and this is more so when we hire, we again, as I mentioned, we would be looking for, like a CISO, or chief information
Compliance
security
officer.
officer,
Yeah.
right,
Hmm.
and compliance, that will also, because we know that as well, that when you're talking about data, you got to be adherence to those rules, right? GDPR, HIPAA, if you're dealing with, with healthcare data, and indoor,
We we're
PCI,
going to be in compliance with that, but
PII,
at the
yeah,
same time, we would have to do an audit of the other party to make sure that they are also within compliance of what the
right.
requirements are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cyber insurance. Yeah, that's the cyber insurance that you provide to clients that would be coming across our system. state that they have to go through this process
Yeah.
with us.
Very good. All right. Very good. Any final questions? Danny, if you want to stop sharing your screen,
Oh, let me see. Yes,
we'll do
sure.
our final comments. Any
Hmm.
final questions, comments from the community? So I will go first, and then I'll leave it to Mila, and then I'll let you, Daniel, have the final word. So, first of all, I want to thank Daniel and Mila for coming and talking to us about this project.
Hmm.
I hope that, it was a lot of information, and for many, it was a lot of new information, a lot of new terminology. I hope that it all connected and you could see how this really is epic, right?
Hmm.
I am not a financial advisor. I have to say that I do not play one on these lives, right? I am very forthcoming about the fact that I am not a financial advisor. So I can't tell you to or not to invest in this. What we
Hmm.
do here at the 10K Project is we present founders that we believe have innovative, awesome ideas to come talk to you and share with you. And then you individually make a determination on if you
Hmm.
want to add this to your portfolio. So with
Yeah.
that said, I will though be with you. Please share this campaign. As I started out, Daniel needs the support of this community to be able to move to the public forum on WeFunder, right? And so, that only takes a few of us, right? They said the amount to move forward is just $5,000. And so 5,000 seems like a lot to one of us, but it doesn't seem like a lot to the
Hmm.
57 of us that are left on here right now, right?
Yeah.
Until the others that will watch the replay. And so just a small contribution from all of us, or investment, because not a contribution, investment, if you feel that this fits in your portfolio, could do the job.
Hmm.
So with that said, even if you don't think it fits in your portfolio, share the campaign with everyone you know, especially those techies that you know, right? Those people that have been
Yeah.
talking to you about blockchain for the last 4 years and you know what they were talking about. Send them this campaign link. I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
And
And they'll be
I
like,
just,
whoa.
yes, and I just also too want to say, Tawana, again, thank everybody for joining us tonight. I know we went over what, an hour and a half. I know some had to drop off, but we really appreciate you all just carved out this time this evening to talk to us as HCISS, to learn about what we have going on. We do. We have some amazing things going on, everybody. And again, we don't have all the answers, but as we grow, this is why we looking to expand. We want more people that looks like us at the executive level of HCISS. As I said from the start, man, this is huge. We have like exploding innovation going on within HCISS. So again, thank you all. Appreciate you all attending tonight.
Awesome. Mila, did you want to add anything before we say goodnight?
I am really very appreciative of this opportunity to you and to everybody else within your group. Just one person to repeat what they heard over here means a lot to us because that's one more person that knows about us. We are available. Also, there's a YouTube video that explains about blockchain, the nature of our business. Another one that explains who Daniel is
You
and
want to
what he
put the
does.
links? You want to put the links
Yeah,
real quick?
it's actually in the pitch deck link. So when
Oh,
you
good.
click on
Okay.
Yeah,
watch the
yeah.
videos,
So
you
you
just
get an
click.
idea.
Good. And the
Daniel
Yep.
pitch
and
deck
I
is
are
on the WeFunder page, guys. At the very
Hmm.
bottom of the page
Yep.
was the
right.
pitch deck.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
pitch deck.
And
Yep.
and
And
Daniel
in
and
the
I are
video.
available. Yeah. And Daniel and I are available on LinkedIn. I'm Mila C. Smith. Daniel Edison. We're both on LinkedIn. We have an ACISS on LinkedIn also. The same on Facebook, Instagram,
Yep.
Twitter, and recently on Discord. So we're reachable. You can reach out to us. I mean, I take any communication through any of those platforms. Again, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate this opportunity from the bottom of my heart, Tawana. We really appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. I'm super excited about what you guys are doing. Congratulations. To Daniel, when Daniel first told us about this solution a couple of years back, it was exciting. To see it unfold this way is super exciting. So congratulations for, seeing your vision through to this far. That this is huge. This is you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Happy anniversary again.
Yes.
And I will
Happy
see you guys
anniversary to
next
you.
Happy
Tuesday.
anniversary,
We'll
everybody.
do this one more again. Good night,
Yeah.
guys.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you, everybody. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.